Why don't we go to our caller from the 732 area code? And 732 is very, very dicey. It's on the list along with 413 and 210 of often problematic area codes. But let's try it. Who's calling today from the 732?
Hi, David. My name is Joseph. I I'm actually born in the Monmouth County area, which is kind of conservative, along with Ocean County is also
Right.
pretty conservative. I happen to live in New York City now, um, and I was
Good.
conservative for a little bit of time,
Really?
and then switched. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Why did you switch?
Um, I switched, I think, because my empathy just kind of got to me.
Hmm.
My empathy for other people, as opposed to being more about like my own stuff and my own personhood. But I have a lot of friends who are conservatives and voted for Trump, and we have interesting conversations.
And what triggered that
But
change?
anyway,
Like, in other words, so for a while you say you were kind of more self-centered and you were conservative, and then something triggered your empathy for other people, and then you became you moved to the left. What triggered the empathy?
I really think it was the fact that I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness,
Oh, okay.
um, and then I went to a private school. So you're very isolated from the general population. So I think it's easy to be privileged in those settings and
Right.
to kind of ignore other people's struggles. And as soon as I decided to move into a public school where I was able to meet, different people of color,
Joseph,
other
we're starting
minorities,
to lose you.
and
You started sounding like you were maybe operating a nuclear submarine. I don't know if you just moved into a location that's less than ideal.
can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. What? How much did you hear?
I think I heard up until when you said you met black people.
Oh, yeah. So I basically went to public school, and I met more people of color, more minority people, and gay people. I started to meet, like, because I am gay as well, so I'm sure that had a lot to do with it.
Hmm. All
But
right. Well,
so
it's an
eventually,
interesting
yeah,
journey.
just eventually I fixed I fixed myself. So my question, David, is I'm a Bernie Sanders fan, and I want to know, given that the stock market is an indication or somewhat of an indication of how the wealthy are doing and how like corporate elitists are doing, doesn't it make sense, or is it not at least reasonable to assume that if Bernie Sanders gets his way in certain aspects, that the stock market will go down, or that the economy will in fact go down, just as a means of correction into a new economic era of Bernie Sanders?
No, I don't think that that's a good assumption. I mean, listen, there are things that you can argue Donald Trump has done in terms of deregulation and lowering business taxes, which have then been used to repurchase stock and drive up the share prices that have been good for the market. But there's also things that Donald Trump has done that are not good for markets, instability related to the trade war, other types of geopolitical instability, possible impeachment. I mean, there's this whole long list. So you could argue that some of the Bernie Sanders policies with regard to taxing corporations or regulating corporations, at a surface level analysis, it might suggest that we would expect stocks to become depressed. Historically, stocks do better under Democrats than Republicans, even though Democrats tend to be slightly more for regulating business. And so I think that there's no historical case to be made that a Bernie presidency would be bad for the markets. And I think that in the same way that you can argue some of his policies might pull down stock prices, a lot of what Bernie wants to do in terms of making it demand side stimulus, making sure people aren't at risk of going bankrupt because of a healthcare bill, for example, and other ways that he would free up capital for people to use in a disposable income way will be beneficial to the economy and to some of those corporations. So I reject the premise that you're proposing here. With peace and love, I reject it.
Of course, I just wanted to ask what your thoughts are
Yeah.
about it. But thank you.
All right, Joseph, very good to hear from you. Very interesting story. Let's take a quick break. If you're holding, don't hang up. We will go right back to the phones just after this.